friends, let's talk. We need to talk about this buzzword that has been circulating around social media for the last month or so, and that is de-influencing. Now, what does de-influencing mean to me? Groundbreaking, I know, but to me, de-influencing means use what you have. Don't go run out and buy the next product just because you've seen it mentioned a few times here or there. Use what you got. There we go. It's funny though, all the de-influencing videos I've seen have been very much so, don't buy this, buy that instead, which is funny because you're still influencing in that way. I love those videos, but that's not de-influencing. You're still influencing somebody to buy something. Or I see the videos that are just like, these products are terrible, don't buy it. So those are just, you know, saying what's not good and you shouldn't buy it, which I appreciate that. That is de-influencing in a way. But what I want to promote over here is use what you got. So that's what I'm going to do in this video today. A full face, nothing new. Probably a lot of classics in here, but the catch is I'm not going to show you what I'm using. I'm going to do a face of makeup that I've been loving lately, but I'm not going to share with you the individual products. I will describe to you what I'm using so that you can go in your makeup collection and see if you have something that can mimic the same results as you probably do if you're a makeup lover like me and you have a whole slew of makeup in some makeup drawers like I have back here. So if you want to do that with me, grab a little bin to collect some makeup pieces, hang out and chit chat with me about de-influencing. Okay, let's go, boo. Boop. It is so weird as somebody who's been watching YouTube and doing YouTube for a long time now to see all of these trends kind of resurface just with new names. And I find it funny. So many of the de-influencing videos that I've seen have just been, don't buy this, but buy this instead. So it's still encouraging you to spend your money. And you know what? Times are tough. Times are getting tight. A lot of us want to be saving more. And honestly, a lot of products that are coming out, they just aren't even groundbreaking anymore. So it's like, unless something really sets apart the scene, I'm not interested right now. I've been going back to basics with my brow. I mean, I'm not going to show you what I'm using, but let me tell you, it's hit pan. Like it's not there. Well, I am going to tell you, it is a brow pomade. Okay. You probably have one in your drawers unless you swore them all off, but you know what? I've been loving my brow pomade again. I can't do the brow lamination. My brows are just not working for it. I tried for 2 years and it's not happening. So this year, I'm embracing me more and what works for me instead of just trying to only work with the trends. So it's kind of like a balance between a brow lamination and a full-on brow fill. So I'm gonna throw this pomade on really quick. Okay, they look a little bit boxy right now. They look a little circa 2015, but after I'm done with my makeup, my final step is throwing in some brow gel, and that kind of separates the hairs, and that's what gives you like that in-between brow lamination look. Now, if you need to fill in your brows, honestly, use whatever you have. A brow pencil works, a brow twist up penny works, whatever fills in your brows, use that. You don't have to have like the brow pomade, whatever. You don't need to. Brow powder is a little bit harder to work with a brow gel because it tends to like melt it away unless you use it as a topper, but sometimes they get kind of finicky, but again, use what you have. And speaking of that, I'm going to use this really dewy primer that's very hydrating. And you know what? Even if I showed you, you wouldn't be able to get it anymore because it's discontinued. If you have dry skin like me, grab out your dewy hydrating primer. I found this is pairing well with the technique I'm going to show you really quick, which is, okay, let's say you want to hop onto this very light makeup trend, very simple, lightweight. That's what I'm doing right now, okay? So, you know, your skin but better type of trend, but you have a myriad, is that the word? Myriad, maraud, whatever, a slew of full coverage foundations, maybe even medium coverage, because that's kind of what we're coming off on, going from this full coverage to like the polar opposite. And these companies do that because they know we're fully stocked on the other thing and they want you to buy, so they change the trend. Like, it's crazy. Maybe I will go into it, but what I'm going to tell you right now is going back to basics. Back when I did makeup professionally, I couldn't stock everything in all the shades. So you want a light coverage, but you have a full coverage foundation. Take some of that full coverage foundation on the back of your hand, and I'm using one that I have literally loved for years. It's a little bit thick, but it gets thinned out because I'm going to throw on my daily sunscreen lotion into it. Okay, so it's going to look like this. Going back to being little scientists, being a little chemist at our makeup chair, okay? And I'm just going to use my hands to mix it up. I definitely made too much, but I wanted to make sure you guys could see. You're just mixing it up, you know? You're getting creative, you're having some fun. And what's nice is I'm using a full coverage foundation that I already know I love and works well with my skin, and the color is right, so I don't have to go color match again. And the sunscreen lotion won't give you the same sun protection, so keep that in mind. You want to layer your sunscreen already with your skincare, but you still get a little bit. But it will dilute it down to a thin coverage, and then it color matches beautifully. I'm gonna use my beauty sponge, which is where did I put it? Let me go find it. Okay, here we go. So got my beauty sponge, and I'm just gonna press that out, you know? Give that beautiful skin-like finish. I've been doing this exact technique with this combo for a few days now, and I've really been enjoying it. But you do not need all these different coverage foundations. Like here, I've reviewed a lot of foundations for my dry skin and my discoloration, everything, and I like to test it out and see, but I don't want any of you to ever feel like just because I like a foundation, like you have to go get it. Like, see what you have in your collection, see what you already need. Do you already have a few different medium coverage foundations? You don't need another one, you know? You don't need all the tinted moisturizers that I tried, try out, and I don't even need it anymore, and I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it at the end of the day. It's just unnecessary, and unless, like I said, unless something's truly revolutionary, groundbreaking, I don't need it. I just don't. And I don't really want it at this point in my life. I have wanted it the last few years, but now I'm just at that, like I said, I had a whole video talking about this recently, but I'm just at that time in my life that I less is more. I don't want a million things that do the same thing. And my skin's really finicky now that I turned 35, so not everything is looking the best on me. But look at that, turned a full coverage foundation into a light coverage. You still see all my discoloration and freckling, but it definitely blended it out and it didn't over texturize my skin, which is what I'm personally looking for, less textured skin right now. And I was just using products I already had for like a long time now. So I'm gonna take this other it's like a light to medium concealer. It's very popular. A lot of us have it in our collection from a couple years ago. And I'm just going to cover up the discoloration, because I personally like it a little bit more covered over here. And it's a very thin concealer, very thin, not thick, not heavy, and it meshes really well onto the pores on my cheeks. It doesn't over accentuate, it doesn't fill in, again, weird. So if you're trying to do the similar thing, look for a thin concealer, a light to medium coverage in your own collection. Or thin out a thick concealer with a tiny itty bitty bit of the same sunscreen lotion or whatever that you used. And then on the regular concealer parts, I'm going with a full coverage concealer because I'm gonna blend it out like crazy. And I only have to use a little tiny bit of this one. So I'm just gonna put it on my darkness that I have on the inner corners. And then I have some darkness on the outer corner just right there. I don't really have a lot going on under the eye, so why put it there? That only is gonna accentuate my fine lines more, my smile lines right there. Put it right there. I still have a little bit of a sunburn on my nose from my trip to Hawaii, even though I slathered myself in sunscreen constantly. Still got hit. A little right there to brighten, and a little right here to balance out the lightness on my nose. So you got a full coverage concealer. This will probably do. I'm gonna keep using my same beauty sponge, so I'm not even grabbing any other tools. And I'm just gonna make sure that blends nice. I don't wanna use a brush because that's gonna keep it too full of coverage compared to the rest of my face. So use the same beauty sponge you've been using. I also have not been doing any heavy eye shadow looks lately, so I haven't been really interested in any eye palettes or anything like that. It's, again, no interesting color stories that I can't already replicate in my collection. Like, nothing. I was talking about this recently too. I think I only bought like a handful of palettes last year, and for me, that's crazy. I usually bought like a few a month, and for me to get a few for the year, I gotta count and see how many I actually got. I would say at the most probably 5, because it's just, you don't need it at this point. If you've been a makeup collector, you probably can replicate almost any color story that comes out, unless there's some like cool fun formulas. I'm not interested. So I've been taking the concealer and just plopping it on my eyelids. I know a lot of us do this, but if I'm not gonna do a full eye look, I don't need to go in with another step of eye primer specifically. The concealer works just fine, especially this one. This is more of a matte concealer, by the way, but honestly, a hydrating dewy one will work just fine. The key for this with the tinted moisturizer creation we came up with was to add a little bit of full coverage for those areas of more concern, more coverage that's needed, but the finish doesn't really matter in my experience. So that is that for that. Then look at this, okay? Do you have a liquid contour or bronzer? Do you have a liquid or cream blush, highlight? Use whatever you have of that. These products aren't so revolutionary in between their formulas that you can't already be owning it, you know? And like me, for instance, when it comes to blush, I'm a coral kitty. I don't know what to call it. Just like I love pinky orangey corals. They complement my skin tone so well. You will laugh if you saw how many both cream category and powder category I have of the same shade, and it looks the same on my skin. Again, I test things out and review it, I know, but if I was an everyday consumer, like I would not have this much product because I don't need it, or I would definitely not buy more now that I've realized it. Sometimes it's kind of like you black out. Why do you have so much? I don't know. Because we want to try the new fun thing. We do, and we're always looking for that next best thing and thinking, how can this be better? Maybe this product would be even better. I don't know, but I'm just gonna take this cream contour that I've been loving. But I'll tell you, I have a few products that work exactly like this cream contour, and you don't need them all. Which one of my many creamy type of blushes do I want to use? I think I'll grab this one. You'll be able to see. You'll be able to guess some of these products. There's just no hiding that. But honestly, whatever works. This one is a little bit more rosy tone. But are you going to be buying blushes for the shade or the texture? I've been buying them for the texture because, like I said, I have pretty much all the same shade. They all end up mostly looking the same, but texture-wise, they can look a little bit different. This one's very glowy, very glossy, but a lot of these are kind of duping each other now, which is nice. It's nice to have that. So that's why those don't buy this, buy that instead are helpful. They're nice. Of course I like them because they're basically dupe videos, but just call them that. Like, or just call them to buy this on that. Like, that's been around for years. Like that, you don't need to buy the expensive stuff or whatever. Here's a duping video. I'm not against that, but I am against them calling it de-influencing because it's 100% influencing you to buy something else. That's all. De-influencing you to buy that specific popular product, but a lot of the dupes though are popular too, so that doesn't really work out either. So now I'm just using, again, a very, very popular highlighting creamy liquidy formula because it's been looking really nice on my skin texture, but I have 3 or 4 of this exact same, maybe not exact same, but close enough formula, almost the same packaging for all of them. They all work the same. They all work the same. What do I want to do next? I needed a little bit of powder. I've been using this, it's been around forever. Powder that helps with pores. Hang on, I need to make sure my under eyes aren't gonna crease too much on me. This one, because it's a pressed formula, I do prefer to use my brush under the eyes. And it's been kind of diffusing because I've been having that problem with my skin texture, like looking too texturized with these glowy products. And I noticed these more pressed, very finely milled pore powders that, you know, were big years ago, they kind of complement the system really nicely where it blurs out and softens my skin without looking too powdery once I put a setting spray on top, you know, kind of sets it. But I'm a setting girl, I gotta set. And I'm gonna go in with a little bronzer too. I gotta use a cult classic over here. I literally know so many of you own this. I know it. I know it. There's just no way. Then, oh no! Did I just break it? No, because this thing is sturdy as heck. How many times can I drop it though? No, it is hard pressed, but it is beautiful. You can layer it up, so it helps me not go too crazy. Well, up here, use whatever powder bronzer you have that you enjoy. Ooh, this is a cult classic I haven't grabbed in a long time. Let me pop a little tiny bit of this on. It's glowy. It was everybody's favorite blush a la 2015. Oh yeah, that's pretty, and it's so glowy too. Wow. A little bit, just a little bit, Ash. I need a spray. Another spray that you can't even get, even if I told you what it was, because it is discontinued, but it is so hydrating. And I slather that sucker on because I'm dry and I like to, it's, you know, it's about layering for this always. I'm still using so much less makeup than I was before. And every time I go on camera, I can't help but over apply. I don't know what it is, the lighting or whatever, but on my day-to-day, I've been doing this so fast. For my eyes, a little bit of creasing, I just want to throw on like a little shimmer shade. That's it. Yeah, sure, let's do this. This is a top favorite of mine for years. 4 years. Put a little sparkle darkle right in the front. The only problem with this is my giant nails that I still have on from St. Patty's Day. And they are getting in the way of my life. This particular shimmer is almost kind of a bit of a creamy consistency. So like those creamy shadow sticks work nice for this, or if you have any palettes that have a creamy shimmer consistency, it just gives a nice sheen on the eyes. And then I think I want to deepen up a tiny little bit on the outer edges. So I could get a little bit of my playful fun looks, but it's definitely more toned down from what I was doing just a few months ago. Just taking a little bit on the outer corners. And then I want to grab just like a whitish highlighter, like a creamy, very light in tone highlighter. And dude, old habits, some old habits will never die, okay? I'm gonna pop it in the inner corner. I'll never stop doing this, okay? Come for me, whatever, I don't care. Let's do the brows really quick. Let's spruce them up a little bit. So I'm gonna take this brow jelly thingy. I have literally a million, especially since I was trying to get the lamination brow to work for me. So there's so many. You can use one of those gel pots or the brush on like I'm using, what have you, and see how it just really defines the hairs more than like this is brows from what 2015 era. These are kind of more the fluffy brows, but they're just a little bit more defined. I need that. I mean, you saw my brows at the beginning of the video. I don't have much to work with and they don't go in the right direction. So this is a nice way to get them to go where I want without like gluing them down. I can get the laminated look. I figured out, you know, which products work best for me for that now, but I just can't do it. It takes too long and I can't be bothered, quite frankly, these days. Let me do my lips. They're going to be so simple. Literally all I'm going to do is throw on a lip liner. Again, it's a classic lip liner, very cheap. A lot of us have a million of them while we were trying to find our perfect shades. And that's going to be very much like to you. I've bought so many lip liners based off of like, oh my gosh, this is my favorite color. It's the perfect nude. And then I get it and I'm like, it's not the perfect nude for me, especially in these like lights. What might look like maybe the perfect nude for you as well. Once you get it on, your lip color is so different, your skin color, the lighting is different. You're like, oh wait, I either can't see it at all, it's too light, or it's too dark. And unfortunately, when it comes to lip liner, when it's nude lip liner, even lipsticks, lip products, swatches really only go so far. You really got to try it on. Throwing on this creamy lip. It's like a balmy, glossy lip with a hint of color that looks close enough to the lip liner. And then a very plumping gloss that I have used for not the same bottle, but probably 10 years now. I love it. Sometimes we got to remember that grass is greener thing. If you have a product that you absolutely love, it is your ride or die holy grail. Why do you think it can be better? And you know what? This is what I gotta tell myself. I have a list of products that I know, like there's just no way it can get better than this. And yet here I am still buying them. And even if I wasn't a content creator and making videos, I probably still would anyways because I love makeup, but not these days. Not this year. No, I don't need to. So here's the look. Very simple, very quick. And if I wasn't talking, it would be so fast. I've been doing this in like 5 or 10 minutes when I want to do my makeup these days. Let's get a conversation going down below in the comments. How are you feeling about this whole de-influencing trend? Do you think it's kind of a silly trending word that they made up to just get things going, but really they're still influencing to buy essentially? Because that's how I felt. Hopefully we can readjust the path of this de-influencing to say, use what you got. De-influencing to me means use what you got. That's what I did today, and I hope that I influenced you to use what you got, okay? Not to buy things. And that's that. And that's the that on that on that. And I will see you in the next one, okay? Bye.